Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. I'm trying something new. Anyway, Ubisoft in the news yet again for something that apparently, according to them, if you actually trust them, which, the level of skullduggery, I'll use that word. I like that word. The level of skullduggery in this one is, wow, easy enough to believe, proving yet again that Ubisoft is a scumbag company and customers just do not read their end user license agreement. What on earth could I be talking about? Seems to be a massive trend as of late of things hitting the news cycle. Oh my gosh, this is brand new. How can they do this? And it's something that's 3, 4, 5, 10 years old because, well, we weren't paying attention then, and all of a sudden people are paying a lot more closer attention. I said it. Things, pieces of media are being far more scrutinized than they ever have been. Recently, I saw people complaining about the WNBA mode in NBA 2K26, and it's like, took me 5 seconds, and yeah, I'm going to criticize you. It's like, let's not look foolish here. It's been around since at least NBA 2K22. Who is this for? Maybe it's for somebody. 5 seconds, but apparently they're treating the WNBA like just as a barely a skin edition because there's no extra modes on it. But anyway, I digress. What I'm talking about is things that have been around for more than just 2 or 3 years, and we're just now noticing them because things are getting more scrutinized. Let's keep going. In this case, it's Ubisoft's end user license agreement, quoting, mandating players destroy physical game copies by noting it's existed for over a decade. That doesn't make it any better. But again, it just proves that we just agree to a bunch of nonsense. Carlos Mencia, I believe it was Carlos Mencia, he may have stolen the joke. If you know, you know. Mentioned they should start sliding stuff into end-user license agreements that Tyrone comes over to your house and has relations with your mother because you agreed to it. Nonsensical stuff like that being in these license agreements that we just agreed to. Click, 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 click. Give me my damn game. So stuff like this doesn't surprise me. And again, I believe I said it already because I repeat myself entirely too much. Doesn't make it okay. Over here in that Park Place, Marvin Montanaro. Sorry about that, Marvin. Is that? Okay, I thought that was Mr. Rogers. In an ever-evolving landscape of digital gaming, a long-standing clause in the Ubisoft End-User License Agreement, EULA, has recently sparked widespread outrage. We should really have people reading these things ahead of time. Maybe, I don't know, get some channels out there. How much traffic could you get if you dedicated your channel to reading this nonsense? New game comes out, you read that end user license agreement, and you give people the pros and the cons and just kind of give everybody a TLDR. Or maybe they're already out there and just no one's discovered them yet. Would that be a bad idea? Recently sparked outrage, widespread outrage among gamers and industry observers. The provision, which requires users to destroy all physical copies of a game upon termination of its license, good luck with that, has been thrust into the spotlight amid growing concerns over game preservation and consumer rights. There's a little thing going on right now called Stop Killing Games. Now, if you're a scumbag little roach, you're obviously going to be disagreeing with it and hating it and misrepresenting it. I don't know who I'm talking about, but you know. And doubling down and tripling down and insulting the creator and the people that use it and actively going out of your way, proclaiming that you want it destroyed because, well, you're reading comprehension. And I will say this definitively because I read it. He didn't. Your reading comprehension skills were just not quite on par when the things you're complaining about are in the next paragraph down, but whatever. The idea that we should, be able to, within reason, continue to play a game after we purchase it. What an ideal concept. The ability to play the single player mode, but one developer after another is continuously putting in online components in single player games, always online requirements in single player games, early access, digital skins hidden behind a paywall in single player games. Can you tell I have a problem with this nonsense? And maybe, just maybe, and sure it's in the UK, but could set a precedent. Don't change the game, just give players the ability to continue playing it on their own. No one's asking you to add anything. No one's asking you to change the code. Just give the people access to what they paid for. Why would anyone be against that? But this little end-user license agreement claiming to force you to destroy the copy? That's interesting. Pirate Nation brought this up and people started digging into it, but let's take a look. Directly from the EULA stating, quote, "You and Ubisoft, or its licensors, may terminate this EULA at any time for any reason. This EULA will terminate automatically if you fail to comply with any of the terms and conditions of this EULA that honestly nobody reads. Upon termination for any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product." Sure. "And destroy all copies of the product in your possession." Raise your hand if you're ever going to think about considering doing that, much less doing that. Sure, this is legal jargon that's put in there to cover their ass more than likely, but the idea, just the notion that you must destroy the physical copy of your game, you will own nothing and you will like it. What is this? I do kind of wonder how many other EULAs out there for video games, TV shows, movies, and whatever product you purchase that you have to agree. Click here, click here, click here, click here. Got to scroll down all the way to the bottom. A whole bunch of stuff that we don't read because we just want to play the game. Remember the days, if you're old enough, where you took the cartridge, you popped that puppy in to your Super Nintendo or your Genesis, or hell, maybe even the original Xbox. Popped that disc into the PlayStation, turned it on, and you just played the game. You didn't have to go through one box after another click here, another click there, agree to this, don't agree to that, you can't play the game. No, you just turned the power on, there it was. Some startup screens took longer than others, but we just were able to play the game. But this constant push for online requirements in single-player games. You should notice I'm specifying single-player games for a reason. I get it when you have multiplayer games, online multiplayer games on a platform, you have to agree to behave a certain way because, you know, it's going to look bad on the servers, on Sony servers, if you misbehave and say those naughty gamer words. Sure, yeah, whatever. But I'm in the privacy of my own home playing my own video game on the comfort of my couch or chair or whatever. Shouldn't have to agree. That should not be necessary. Post also referenced another section. Ubisoft may modify the product for any reason or without any specific reason. Pray I don't modify it any further. At any time and at its entire discretion, in particular for technical reasons such as updates, or they can just decide to brick your system if you say the wrong thing online. Yes, maybe not. That has or has not happened, but they're specifically putting it in there. It gives them the option. Maybe you bought a used game that someone else decided to copy. Well, now it's going to brick your Switch. Gee, you can't even play used games, maybe, but that's a whole different discussion entirely. But you get what I mean, I hope. They have the ability to modify the product in a single-player game? I do kind of wonder about that. At their discretion because you don't actually own the game. Now, I think there's a fine line here to discuss as far as this section goes. Entire discretion, particular for technical reasons. They can change the story, they can change the game, they can make it run better. They can take that little quest out of the game that way too many people are complaining about. It's all part of the development process. Is it an early access game? Is it a game like Cyberpunk 2077 that released to an absolute, complete, and total dumpster fire shit show? Things like that. The pluses, the minuses of changing the game after it's already been out. What battle do you want to fight? Not too offended. I'm not too miffed, I guess. Offended's not the right word, miffed. About a section like this where the company may modify the product at their discretion. You're going to see that in MMOs or arena shooters and stuff like that, where it's primarily an online game because they're trying to improve it for the play of everyone else playing the game. But stuff like this in a single-player game, maybe. I guess the number one way to fix stuff like this is release a complete game. Do that. Just release a complete game. Let's continue before I get off on another tangent. Pirate Software emphasized that Ubisoft believes consumers are responsible for checking the EULA for changes. Well, technically, unfortunately, they are. Technically. Placing the onus on them to detect unreasonable updates without company notification. Well, no. Let me take that back. If Ubisoft changes something in the license agreement that you agreed to a year ago, they go in and change something, I think a brand new license agreement should pop up on your screen, right? Yes? Does that happen? Not like you're going to read it anyway. Post quickly amassed 4,000 likes and hundreds of reply, with many expressing disbelief and anger. Disbelief? You put this past Ubisoft? Ubisoft responded promptly via its official support account on X the same day. Here's what they had to say. We've seen recent reports about Ubisoft's end-user license agreement focusing on a clause related to what happens when a license ends. Thanks for raising this issue. As noted in some articles, this clause is not new. It has been part of our EULA for more than 10 years. Cool. Just still makes it doesn't change it from being stupid. I already read that. Blah 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 blah. It was originally designed as a formal legal provision to clarify that once a license ends, the user no longer has rights to access or use the product. So my goodness, this is a big middle finger to the idea of the Stop Killing Games movement. They had that in there for 10 years. Really, all of a sudden, people are noticing it now. Now I can definitely see why I would press X to doubt. Unless, of course, this is something that Ubisoft can bring out with archived versions of their license agreement to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt it's been there for 10 years. Company admitted the language may sound unusually strong. It's legal jargon that always sounds strong. Or out of step with how players experience and value their games. And announced it is reviewing the clause as part of an ongoing efforts to align policies with player expectations and industry evolution. Sure. Hey, Smash, what's up? Let's see. What we got further. Ubisoft support defends their insane EULA. Well, I mean, of course they do. What? Why wouldn't they? Oh, Smash. Come on. Of course they defend their insane EULA. It's theirs. Really? You're doing that for clicks. Don't do that. Cool. So you've been scummy for over a decade. Yes. Ubisoft's been scummy for over a decade. Thanks for the confirmation, because we needed it. Of course, they turned off replies. Yes, because people are just going to get vile. Duh. It's a conversation that will go nowhere. So sometimes I do understand that. Not defending it, just explaining it. As usual, they're not sorry about what it says. Really? The big mega corporation that doesn't believe you should have the right to own games, to own products, is not sorry for what they did? Sentiment echoes across platforms, with users like Chris TV Live pointing out similar clauses in other EULAs. Sega has a similar clause. So this answers my question that I had in the beginning. So this is apparently nothing new. Let's see what Sega has in there. According to Chris here, Does It Play? Termination and survivability of terms. The agreement set forth herein continues to remain in full force and effect until such a time as terminate. This is boring, I know, but bear with me. You agree and acknowledge that you are not entitled to any refund for any amount which were paid to Sega prior to any termination. You retain full discretion to discontinue use of the product at any time. Well, no shit. I decide how long I want to use it for. What is that? Without prejudice to any other rights of Sega, this agreement shall terminate automatically if you fail to comply to its terms and conditions. Upon termination, you must destroy all copies of the product. Okay, so it sounds like this is not generally something new. Seems par for the course across the industry. More than likely, protect their assets. Ubisoft has completely lost all plots imaginable, forcing people to destroy all copies of a product. We know they can't force anyone to destroy their thing that they bought. It's legal jargon to protect themselves. Period. Still rather scummy. What? I am interested. What could the outcome of this be? Are people suddenly going to stop buying Ubisoft games? Unlikely. Assassin's Creed is still a big IP. Are people going to start reading more of their end user license agreement? Highly unlikely, because we want to get to playing our games. Makes you wonder what other interesting paragraphs and clauses and whatnot we agree to when we just check that yes, accept when we just want to get to our game. Are you surprised something like this has been in Ubisoft, or much less? Are you surprised that something like this is in most license agreements in video games? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, to all those nifty little things that you beg you to do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.